Hey everybody, how's it going? Today I wanted to share with you the patch notes that were just released with the patch that is now live for Xbox on PUBG. So earlier this morning, the patch did go live and I was able to download it this morning and then play one or two matches just to get a feel of some of the changes that were made in this patch. And in today's video, I just want to kind of go over them one by one just to show you what all is included. Obviously, I'll put a link to the patch notes below in the description. But if reading's not your thing, go ahead and just feel free to listen to what I have to say. And then let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But here we go, we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, they give you a little thank you for being patient since it's been a few weeks since we have gotten a patch. Looks like they were working hard to make sure that this patch actually didn't end up messing the game up even more. They wanted to make sure that they fixed some optimization and stability issues, which is really the number one thing that I'm looking for in a new patch. I know a lot of people are speculating that we might get the new map because it's been 3 weeks, but I personally was hoping that we weren't going to, just so that we can kind of get the game stable before we get anything else. Like I talked about in my previous video, I want to get the game stable and running and not crashing all the time and get that frame rate at a reasonable number. And then we can start adding some new functionality and new things to the game that will make it a better experience for everyone. So the patch went live early Friday morning, 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And they say that you'll need to restart your Xbox in order to get the patch to actually install. It is a 5.76 gigabyte update, so make sure you at least have that much room on your Xbox. But let's go ahead and get into the specifics here. So as far as gameplay, they introduced multiple pre-match starting locations in order to optimize both server and game client performance. So this is something that's been live on the PC for a little bit now. You'll notice that the small portion of the player base will actually be spawned with you in a certain location on the actual map, instead of just on the spawn island. I'm not sure if the spawn island has completely been removed from this rotation of being spawned in different locations on the map for the pre-game lobby. In the few matches that I've just pulled up today, I did land in 3 different places, and like I said, there were about 20 to 30 people with me in that location, so it's not using such a load on the server having 100 people in one location shooting things, throwing Molotov cocktails and grenades. It's just everybody running around. I don't even think there's weapons anywhere. It's just as if you're on a blank portion of a certain part of the map. Weapons are now removed from the starting island prior to the match starting. Game DVR is now supported for automatic recording of gameplay highlights, and this feature must be enabled within the settings menu. This is something that I haven't messed around with yet, so I don't really have the specifics on it, but it does seem like it's going to automatically record things that it deems a highlight. I imagine kills and explosions, things like that. And it looks like they made an important change to the vehicle damage taken from hitting things in the world. So running into trees, rocks, buildings, you're no longer going to take a significant amount of damage just from hitting a bump in the road, which is great in my opinion. I love the change that they made that added damage from bullets to cars to make them easier to explode, make them easier to get rid of, just because of the car meta that was so prevalent there. But the fact that you had to drive your car so carefully so you didn't take any damage was kind of annoying, so this looks to fix that. They adjusted the sound effects of both the water and the red zone bombing. I wasn't able to test out the water, but I was able to drop into Pachinki just because we know we get hit with red zones quite a bit there. And I was able to get hit by 3 red zones while I was there for the short time I was. And definitely more quiet. It's not going to destroy your eardrums like it did before. The bombs are much more subdued and much easier to listen to. Before, I would just go ahead and turn my volume all the way down because I didn't want to have permanent ear damage from this game. But it looks like that has been resolved and we shouldn't have any lingering effects after suffering through a red zone. Another important update here, party matchmaking is now influenced by players' MMR, and if you're unfamiliar with that, there's MMR in a lot of games. It's basically your skill rating and how you rank. So you'll be matched up with people as best they can that are close to your skill rating. And so that's going to make it easier for players to have success. Players just starting out aren't going to come up across, hopefully, against the top 10 players, top 100 players, something like that. Hopefully, people like me, who are in the thousands, won't have to face the top 10 players and then just get annihilated whenever we face them. Hopefully, this just makes it a better experience overall for everyone, even the skilled players, because they're going to be fighting against players more capable and make it more of a challenge. And that's really why I play this game personally, for the challenge and the fun. Not because I can just go ahead and melt 10 people in a row. I mean, that would be fun too, but after a while, you would think that would get boring. You'd want some kind of challenge. And they adjusted long-range blood visual effects back to the original colors. As far as the UI, they improved the visibility of the squad member colors, yellow, orange, blue, and green. Players can use the right thumbstick to rotate their character model during customization. And I tested this out. It does let you rotate your character. When customizing character appearance, the D-pad can be held to switch between the menus, and preview is supported when customizing your appearance or creating a new character, so you can actually see what your character would look like before you spend the 3,000 battle points that's required to change your appearance in the game. They did change one item. They updated the design of the energy drink. I didn't come across it in my playthrough here in the couple games that I played, but I imagine it's exactly like what the PC has. I did notice that the PC had a slightly different looking energy drink, but either way, the drink has changed, so keep an eye out for it. It doesn't look exactly like it did before. Alright, now on to bug fixes. They fixed water sound effects. They fixed the red zone disappearing immediately after it starts. Random character teleportation following initial landing. Fixed an issue where some doors cannot be entered despite appearing open. They fixed an issue of recovery and boost items being able to be used while underwater. Fix the character animations when transitioning from jump prone to standing. They fixed unexpected character death caused by falling while moving. They fixed areas of fencing where specific sides cannot be penetrated by bullets. They fixed buildings with missing stairs. Fixed a bug which caused objects to float in the air. Areas of terrain which were causing players to become stuck. They fixed an issue which prevented team members being displayed following acceptance of an invite. And they fixed the issue of revive being cancelled unintentionally. A couple more here. They fixed hand animations while reloading and shooting the Kar 98 in a prone position. They fixed the issue limiting peak parachuting speed in first-person perspective mode. And they fixed character animations when moving from prone to entering a vehicle. Now, most of those I've never come across, but some of you probably have, so it's good that they're fixing all these issues. Now on to optimization and stability. They optimized textures, landscapes, and buildings throughout the island to improve performance. They fixed a crash occurring when HDR was enabled, fixed a frozen character issue when reconnecting following a crash, fixed a crash occurring when the player opened their inventory, and fixed a crash occurring when the spectated player was using a scope. All these are welcome in my eyes. Anything they can add to increase optimization and stability is a good thing. As far as localization is concerned, they did fix some issues with Russian, Japanese, and Chinese fonts, as well as some other things that don't apply to the English language, so I'm not going to go over that in great detail. And then they did highlight a couple known issues that are still occurring. The B button incorrectly displayed to cut a parachute cable. This should be X. I haven't seen that personally, but it can be a thing. And when viewing the map, the X, Y, and B buttons are fully functional, so be aware that when you're viewing a map, if you push B, you could then be parachuting down, or you could actually drop out of a moving vehicle, so always use the map button to go in and out of the map itself. And that's it for this patch notes update. Definitely a lot of things here. I'm really glad they're focusing on optimization and stability before going ahead and adding a bunch of things. This is exactly what I wanted as far as my last video was concerned. So hopefully these things do look great for us and they start making the game a better experience overall. Obviously we're going to have to play around with this at least like 5 or 10 games just to see if the improvements actually are there, especially the stability and optimization things. One thing to point out, I noticed right away when I was aiming at my first player, my controller binding preset settings were reset to A, and I was used to B, where if you hold the left trigger, it does aim down your sights automatically instead of just tapping it. So if you do have your controller binding preset set to B, you might want to check your settings just to make sure that those didn't get reset to A as mine did as well, and just make sure your settings are as they were before. And one other thing I noticed, my footsteps seemed rather loud when I was running around in buildings. When I was running, it almost sounded like I was running in puddles. It sounded like water everywhere. But then when I crouched, it sounded like I was walking on wood again. So I don't know if this was just something random or if this is something that's actually happening now. It definitely wasn't there before, so it'll be interesting to see if people complain about that and if some kind of quick fix gets made for that, because it seems a bit off. I'm going to test it out with different shoes, no shoes, things like that, but I definitely noticed my feet sounded like I was running in water. But anyway, I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe for more PUBG content. I appreciate all the support you guys have given me, and I do look forward to making more videos in the future. I do have a special 1,000 subscriber video on its way and a tips and tricks video in the works, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, I'll see you later.